All right, it's the next time. Dark Sniper here. This is part 2 of our whole build, building an entire map. So this is where we left off. We've got quite familiar looking thing here, but we're just playing around, right? So we have some architecture going on. We have our basic structure built. We know we're going to want some sort of ability to get from here to the next level. So I'm probably going to put a lift in on either side. So let's go ahead and begin that process. I'm going to select this texture, right click on it, and since I have the latest update, I'm going to make texture current. I'm also going to right click right here and say move brush here, so our brush comes over here. And then I'm going to make it, this is up to you, I like to make them 16 high. I know we've seen, sun lifts that are 32 and even greater depth, but here's the problem. If a bot goes into the hole, because I like to make a hole too where the lift sits, if a bot goes into the hole and it's greater than 16, then it has a lot of difficulty getting out of the hole, and then you can have all kinds of issues. So if you make it 16 and they get down in the hole, well, then they can pretty easily get out of the hole. So that's my reasoning for that. These measurements that I'm putting in, this is all just so you get a feel for it. You don't have to follow what I'm doing. Make what you want. This is just the process. So here's the hole. I cut a hole for where the lift will sit when we make it, and I'm going to cut a hole over here for the lift as well. Now we need to open this up so the lift can come up, we can get out. So we see that that's 128. All we have to do is change the height. Make sure we're positioned in the right spot. Subtract. There we go. Good. All right, so now we have that. We can go ahead and build a quick mover, just a simple down and dirty mover. So we want to bring this back to 16. Yeah. Let's go up to our texture browser. And we'll add this right there. There we go. Well, that looks okay. So move the builder brush off of there. We can go on a top-down view, look at it, select it, right-click, and say polygons to brush, and that copies the texture information and everything to the builder brush. Bring our mover down, and now it's off the grid a little. I don't know why Unreal does that, but it does it. So right-click on one of the corners, and it should go right back to the grid. All right, now we're just going to make a simple mover. So we just come over here to mover, down here on the left hand toolbar, and add mover. And if we hit the B key, at least for me, it hides my builder brush. And there's our mover. So now we want to get it from here to there. So we want the mover to start here. You come, step on it, and it goes up here and you get off. So we'll right click on it, movers, and we'll go key 1. Because this only has 2 keys. So that's the first key. Now we're positioned at the right spot. Right click on it again, mover key 0. And what it does is it returns to the base. Now we have our builder brush still. I'm going to hit the B key, bring it back. Let's go to the other side. We're positioned correctly. Hit our mover. And there we are. Same thing, mover, key 1. Key 0. And boom. All right, so I went ahead and built both because, economy of time. So now I have that one selected, and I can select this one. It says engine mover properties 2 selected. So now we can come in here and define the parameters for both of those. So the object is by default. Unreal puts in movers at bump open time. It's okay for a door and maybe a button or whatever, but we are going to stand on these, so they need to be stand open time. You notice there's a lot of things we could choose here. Bump, button, trigger, pound, trigger, and we can get into those at some point, but for right now, stand open time. Mover sounds, we come up to our sound browser. And I know some people, they'll just build the mover and then move on to something else. I like to get everything in order, at least while I can, just so I don't have to go back, or maybe, you might even forget that you needed to add sounds to a mover. So we open the sound browser right here, the speaker, and we have to go to the folder, and we want to find a default sound, and I know that a default door sound or lift sound is doors ancient, doors modern. So I'm just going to pick doors modern, and here we have in loop start, and you notice over here we have close, closing, move, open to open, and that corresponds. The closed are the in, if you want it to be. The move ambient is the loop, and then the opened are the starts. So we'll just grab this one. So we click on closed, use, loop, use, and start, opened, use. If we want to listen to it, you just click that button. And on the loop ones, if you don't hit the stop, they'll just keep going and going. So you may like it. I don't know, good soundtrack. Let's see, what do you think? I don't think so. All right, so now for the mover, here's where we can determine how quickly we want it to move from here to here. Right now it's set at 1 second. And once it gets up here, it'll stay up here 4 seconds. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think that'll be good for now. We do want to look at this mover encroach type. You have return when encroach. What that means is if a player steps into the hole when their mover's not present and it comes down on them and it hits them, it's going to return. We could change it to crush when encroach. If we did that, if there were a player or some silly bot here and the mover came down, it would kill them. And the more I think about it, let's do that. Yeah, all right. So we have the encroach type, the move time, the stay open time. I think that's pretty good, all we need for these. In the events, if we were to add triggers, or when it comes down to pathing, we'll mess around with this, but for right now we don't have to. So I think that's all for that. Let's build, and I was going to say test it, but we need to put a player start to test it. So we'll come over to our actor browser, which again is the pawn. We'll scroll down to navigation point and player start. Add a player start. We'll notice he's looking away from the wall, so that's a good thing. If you put a player start in and he's looking toward the wall, you can come to your top view, hold down your left control and your right mouse button, and just move it around, rotate it. All right, let's build all. Play. And here we are. So let's go check our mover. Yeah. Oh, look, we left our mover builder brush in there. We can take that out. He works too. And that clang, that's that closed sound. Open, moves, close. So it all works. All right, well, that's session number 2. I'll see you guys later.